Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans. And we have our review coming up of Week 6 of the CFL season. Some interesting stuff this week. I'm sure everyone's pick'ems got screwed up by a certain event happening this week. But make sure, before we guys do that, drop a like on the video, give us a subscribe, helps out a ton. And if you're viewing this or listening to this, I guess technically, on Spotify, give us 5 stars. Really appreciate it. Helps out the channel a ton. We got our Thursday game. And I'll put it this way, Rick. Would I be correct? This is at least me. Would I be correct in saying that if we knew Cody Fajardo was going down, we're picking Toronto? I know that's certainly my my kind of thought process, in the sense of, Caleb Evans the whole game. I don't think that's able to get him there, despite all the talent they got there. Would you agree with that sentiment? If you knew Fajardo was going down.
Let's just put it this way. Who would have thought Jamarian Grant would have gotten another return for a touchdown? You're such a liar.
No, I'm a Bomber fan. I know how damn good he is. So
yeah, but you wouldn't have expected him to get one against Montreal, though.
I wouldn't have expected it. I just wouldn't have been surprised. I'm not surprised he got it. However, if you, start of the week, gun to my head, was like, do you think Janarian Grant is going to get another return? My answer would be maybe.
And keep in mind, so if you take, let me just do this quick calculation because I'm actually curious. If you take away Janarian Grant's touchdown, and you take away Whit McManus's pick 6.
Yeah.
The game is really 23-18.
Yeah, no. This game.
That's how much those two plays.
Well, and that's
make a difference in this game.
And that's why this is why I think that Fajardo plays the whole game here. Toronto doesn't win. However, again, I guess I didn't even say the score. Toronto Argonauts defeat the Montreal Alouettes by a score of 37-18. Toronto improving their record up to 3-2. Montreal taking their first loss of the season. So we have no more undefeated teams in the CFL. We still have teams without a win.
Thanks,
Rick. However, thankful for Rick, at least, he's not the only team in that debacle.
Hey, I will mention, we did not lose this week, so we are undefeated this week.
Ah, that's right. That is right. The Ticats, for the first week of the year, did not get a loss this week, and that's because they didn't play.
And you know what the funny thing is?
What's the funny
People
thing?
are actually taking Hamilton's defense on fantasy because they didn't want to go in negative points.
Oh, my God.
Because you think about it, Ticats defense right now is like 4.8K for their defense. The cheapest defense. So you pay down at defense and then you pay up at other positions.
Wow.
But let's just bring the elephant out of the room.
Yep.
The highest receiving yards for Toronto is 36.
Oh, geez. I didn't even realize it was quite that low. I knew it wasn't high, but...
Cameron Dukes had 131.
Yeah. And then behind him...
Gideon Carey had 98 rushing yards.
With 4 on 20 for 28 yards. Then you had McMahon with 3 for 19 yards. And just a long list of receivers that they went to just one or two times. It's funny. You can even see... I don't even know how to say this guy's name.
Which one?
He plays running back.
Oh, Daniel Adnaboye. He's having a boye. That's how I always think.
Adnaboye, yeah, there you go. I'm assuming it's not Adnaboye because I don't think there's...
Oh, it is Adnaboye.
There's no N.
Adnaboye. I don't know. That's how I always thought it.
I thought it was Attaboy. Like, what? Maybe it's Attaboye because there's no N. That's, you know what I mean. Like, that's where you lose. Okay, whatever. Long ass name. 2 receptions, only 1 yard on that. So just kind of a funny thing.
Mind you, he did get 6 carries for 29 yards.
I don't even know how to say this kicker's name, too. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Lorem Hanan.
Hallelujah. That's what I think when I see this name. Hajarullahu. I'm going to butcher it. So, the kicker, Hallelujah himself.
We'll just call him Lorem.
Oh, is that his first name?
Yes.
There we go.
Lorem.
Nice. He goes 3 for 3. Kadeem Carey, 94 yards on 16 rushes. Average he was getting 5.9, so not bad. Might want a little more, but it's not worst case scenario. 131 yards. Cameron Duke, 16 for 20. Actually isn't that bad. 131, though. You want more than that. And he gets 1 touchdown, no pick. So, thankful for him, and wait, hold on a second here. No pick. Didn't you say there was a pick? Or no, that was a pick 6 against Caleb Evans. Yeah, no, I'm getting confused here. Because Fajardo goes 5 for 6 for 62 yards before he goes out. So, actually, pretty darn good in terms of getting an average of around 10.3 yards per throw. Then Caleb Evans goes in for Montreal and throws 12 for 22, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And so their top performers in the rushing department would be Fletcher with 60 yards on 5 rushes, and Caleb Evans himself would pick up 18 on 5 rushes. And receiving yards, Speaker would get 70 on 6 receptions. Rambo would get 4 on 53 receptions, and Tyson Philpott would get 38 on 4 receptions. What the hell are you watching?
I'm trying. Well, because I have an app on my phone that I use for work when I have hard pronouncing last names.
Oh boy!
And this is how it sounds like.
Hajralahu.
I don't know. That's right, man.
Not even close.
I don't. It's like that Seth.
Not even close.
It's like that Seth Rollins meme where it's like, no. I don't think so, pal. That's not how this works.
And to even think, but Philpott only had 38 yards this week.
Yeah, geez, and I thought
you know, Caleb Evans cannot throw the long throw like Fajardo can.
Nope. No, and then Maltos would go. He would go 1 for 2. With his longest at a 50-yarder. And then if we're looking here, not bad game on the kick returning for Letcher Jr., although, again, Janarian Grant steals the show in Toronto for his return game. But not bad for Letcher Jr. It's an okay game for him. Wall would have 8 tackles, along with Johnson and Beverett, who would have 5 tackles apiece. 2 sacks for Johnson, and then 1 sack for Adeyemi Berglund on the Alouette side of things. For the Argonauts, overall, decent kind of defending game.
The one thing that I will point out,
4 tackles for Mechie, McManus, Johnson, and Sopik. Yes.
Is why did they not start our guy Michael Dolagala and they started Jose Maltos?
You mean Domagala? Because Dolagala is the quarterback.
Yeah, sorry, Domagala.
Domagala? Not sure.
Because Jose went 1 for 2.
I guess they just wanted him as kind of a third option and bringing him in because he's on the practice roster right now. So I don't know if maybe they want to see a bigger sample size from him on the practice roster before bringing him up to the main roster. I don't know if it's one of those things where he never was the replacement plan and that he was just kind of some added insurance for when a guy goes down.
Cote is out for 7 weeks.
But exactly. But when they bring him in, maybe they're not bringing him in as the backup. Maybe they bring him in as the third string. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Third string kicker. Yeah. I would like though. It's funny. We've talked to Domagala for a while. Domagala, good friend of Gordon White's, and we should get him on the pod at some point. Rick, we've talked about this for a while. We've actually discussed it with Domagala, but we've had so many unfortunate things
Ev-
happen when we try to
every-
schedule. I don't know if I want to release exactly what happened, but
No.
let's just say we made plans numerous times and stuff, and not on hit, like not any of his fault, anything on his.
We blame the teams.
Just bad timing. Bad timing. Exactly. That's right. People might be able to put 2 and 2 together there, but that's fine. Overall, is there anything else we got to say about this game? We're about, 37-18 victory for the Toronto Argonauts. Big one for them when they definitely need it. Alouettes take the loss. Not ideal for them, but overall, they should be okay. It really just depends on the condition of Cody Fajardo. Do we know the situation regarding that injury and how long he might be out?
For Cody Fajardo, it's a hamstring injury.
Okay.
However, only one team out of 8 teams practiced today. Because instead of having a game on Thursday, we actually have a doubleheader Friday.
I see. Well, so the good news then will be that because
we will know Monday or tomorrow.
Yeah, because
later on today.
Yeah, later on today for when. So this video will come out Tuesday morning. We will record our preview. It'll come out Wednesday morning, but we'll record it Tuesday evening. So that should mean that we should have at least another day's worth of information from the practices to see the situations around some guys. That's the thing. We don't always fully know the situations around guys. Like, for example, when I made my pick for Ottawa, it was kind of banking on the fact that I thought Drew Brown was not playing. Then obviously he did, just because he turned out to be healthier later in the week. That's just kind of that's kind of just how this goes, Rick, with the way that we record and post them. Because we need them to be up on YouTube long enough that you guys can actually watch them before the games happen.
Funny thing is that for some strange reason, Ticats decided to have a practice on Sunday, but not practice today, but practice tomorrow. And I was able to go to the practice on Sunday, and I got some players are returning this week for us.
Ooh.
You'll have to tune in to Wednesday morning when our pre-game or our pre-week speech comes out. Absolutely. As to who's coming in, and it could make a big difference.
So, shall we get into the next game?
The one of 3 crazy games this week, we shall say.
That is right. That is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers picking up their second victory of the season in a 41-37 win over the Stampeders. Now, Rick, I'm going to let you actually get started on this one because I'm going to quickly go grab something. So please.
I was actually curious before you go. Yep. I'm actually curious to think of what you were like in the stadium when that game went back and forth. You were probably crapping your pants, thinking, "What the heck is going on?
This is crazy
with this team. This is crazy."
Well, and there were only 2 words on my mind. It wasn't holy shit.
It was WO. What the heck?
No,
for WO.
It was
really
Ontario Wilson. Oh my gosh! 201 receiving yards. 1 touchdown, 13 receptions, the second most in Bomber franchise history, only behind, I can't remember his name, from the mid-'80s who had 15 in a game. It was crazy. What the absolute hell? Zach Collaros, 27 for 36, and 344 yards for Zach Collaros. Thank goodness we needed a big game from Collaros. And even though he still throws 2 picks, he throws 2 touchdowns, finally getting himself some. And 340, this is a big, even though we might want a little bit more from Zach, a little less picks, and keep the touchdowns rolling. It's a big step forward for Collaros than where he was before and where we need him to be. Yep.
Keep in mind, Jake Mayer did not throw for 48 passes because we both thought that he was going to go at least for 48 passes.
Oh yeah.
He only threw 31. He threw 316 yards.
Yeah.
Dedrick Mills ran for 131 yards.
Yeah, Dedrick Mills was kind of a problem for us. He was. And so that was something where I was kind of hoping for a little bit more was just kind of from him. It's funny. Actually, Cramdy defensively for the Bombers was one of their better performers. 5 tackles for him. There'd be an interception for Terrell Ford and for Dietrich Nichols. 2 big ones there with, I think it was the Dietrich Nichols one that was the pick 6, I believe. Big sack for Jake Thomas. Jake Thomas had a good game today. He had gotten himself that sack, and then he'd also gotten 1 tackle there. He had played decent. Willie Jefferson with a solid game. The D-line as a whole was okay. They kind of struggled with the running game a little bit. But it's funny. That's where it's the linebackers. If you look at their numbers in terms of the amount of tackles they got, were pretty good. It was one of those things where it was like we're giving up a few more yards than I'd like before they get those tackles. So numbers a little bit deceiving in that part. If we're looking at Sergio Castillo, 57-yarder as his longest kick. He would now finally, after 14 straight field goals, miss his first field goal from 54 yards. There is no shame in missing a 54-yard field goal. I'm not worried about Castillo one bit. This guy has been absolutely incredible for Winnipeg. And it's funny, we want to talk about a crazy game. How about that second quarter? 17 points for Winnipeg, 16 for Calgary, all in the second quarter of this game. And in my opinion, with a high-scoring game like this, you know what loses it for Calgary? That donut in the third quarter. Putting up nothing in the third quarter when there's constant scoring, it's not going to look good for you, you know? And so,
well, let's put it this way. DeMario Houston wasn't able to get the job done, but Trey Robertson got 2 picks off of Mr. Zach Collaros.
Yeah, no, he did. He had, but overall, I was happy with his performance, despite those picks. I also really like Drew Wolotarski's game. He got 5 receptions for 61 yards. Dembski, obviously, we get the touchdown. But then he also, keep in mind, Dembski was also the receiver for the 2-point conversion. Now, there was a lot of people wondering why Winnipeg goes for the 2-point conversion. Do you know why? I'm like, you don't say why, but do you know why they went for 2 there or no?
Where in the second?
I'm talking in the fourth quarter. Why the Bombers go for 2? They're keep in mind they're up by 2 points, so they can kick the field. They can kick.
Oh yeah, I know why they did.
Okay. Because when I'm watching this in the stadium, at first I'm like, what are they doing? Like, in the sense of now you're making it more than a field goal. In order for Calgary to win. That is not the reason Winnipeg actually went for that. Because Coach O'Shea is a pretty safe coach. He usually doesn't kind of take that risk. Despite the fact that 2-point conversion success rate is actually a little bit higher than people might think. So that's not if you think that's the reason, Rick, that is not the reason he went for it. It had nothing to do with that game. It had everything to do with, though, that when Calgary beat Winnipeg in the first... So keep in mind, Calgary and Winnipeg face each other once. Once home, once away, okay?
Yeah.
Calgary beat Winnipeg by 3 points in their first game, which meant that Winnipeg...
Oh, now they have the tiebreaker.
By 4... So that if the records are tied, Winnipeg holds the tiebreaker. So Coach O'Shea goes for 2 and throws it out there because we want that tiebreaker against Calgary. And he does get it. Nick Dembski in the end zone right after picking himself a touchdown, hits the 2-point conversion, and he gets, again, another 100-point night for Oliveira. I kind of wish we saw a little bit more Strevler, but I'm just glad we got Calero.
I could have sworn that after tied in points, it goes points for minus points against.
But it does with the team you're tied with, though. That's why they were up 3 points.
Okay, so hold on. If I'm taking your theory right, Winnipeg... Oh, no, because Calgary's played one less game than you guys have.
Yes. Yeah, no. But it doesn't matter, though, because it's only the head-to-head. They're tied with, when Calgary and Winnipeg are tied, the point differential is not like the total of the season. It's the point differential against the team you're tied with. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Calgary,
I was just
Calgary
thinking
beat
why
Winnipeg by 3. So all the other games they could lose by 1 billion points, does not matter. You know what I mean? But when they're tied with Winnipeg, it's that point differential that matters. So Coach O'Shea with some 3D chess kind of move going for 2, because I didn't even hear about this till later, and I'm like, that is such like this like, for people who wonder like, oh, is O'Shea still able to do it even though the Bombers had a tough start? Yes, absolutely. Coach O'Shea is a fantastic head coach, and this is the kind of shit why he's playing chess when everyone else is playing checkers. He's not just thinking about this game. He's thinking about the next one. He's thinking about the next play. He's anticipating. And so this was just a brilliant call by Coach O'Shea to go for 2 points here. Even though it was risky, it paid off for the Bombers massively. And especially with the Bomber situation about kind of trying to fix their record now, them having tiebreakers is huge. Yep, Rick?
No. I was just trying to think, because every team plays one specific team 3 times.
We play Saskatchewan.
No, I was just trying to think of who it was, but yeah, you guys play Saskatchewan.
Because we play Saskatchewan next week, and then there's Labor Day Banjo Bowl.
But, Carter.
Yeah.
Do you want to know something else?
What should I know?
First off, are we done with this game?
No.
Okay, because I wanted to say something that kind of ties this game and the next game together before we move on to the next game.
Well, I wanted to talk about one thing. I think you might know what I'm going to be talking about before we end this game. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, no, I wasn't. No, okay, no, that's not what I thought it was. Okay.
All right, well, so for those who watch the channel, they probably saw that, I want to say it was like 2 weeks ago.
I thought it was going to be the thing behind you.
Well, it's a conjoined effort there, Rick. You know, but I wasn't going and taking it down because like I'd have to stand up on my bed. I'm not doing that. Around a month ago, Micah Alway comes on for an interview. You know, you probably know him, best linebacker on the Stampeders, one of the best linebackers in the league. Comes on for an interview, gives us probably one of our best interviews that we've had. Lots of fun information about Patrick Mahomes, about Baker Mayfield, about him injuring Carson Wentz and discovering Canada exists because of... I'm kidding. No, he discovered the CFL exists. I'm exaggerating. But he was such a good interview, and he's just genuinely a really, really good guy. And so shortly afterwards, at one of I was gonna say my local sports shop, but it really wasn't that local. It was a good 40-minute drive. It was on the other end of Winnipeg. I live in like the northeast. It was on like the southwest. I was there just taking a look at some CFL stuff, and I saw that they had a Stampeders jersey on sale. It was not the current one. It didn't have any of the candy cane bullshit on the top. It was the one before that. That everyone actually liked because they thought it was a good design, and it wasn't the candy cane Five Guys burgers and fries bullshit that they have now. And so I was like, you know what? I might pick this up because it was dirt cheap. I want to say it was like $70, like 65. It was crazy cheap. Because it said clearance 50% off 135. I didn't realize that. I thought the 135 was the 50% off. I didn't realize it was half of that. But I was like, hell, I'll take this. I'll get it customized. I had to pay a little bit of a fee in order for it to be done by Friday. I would have hoped to have it done Thursday, so I could have just showed up at his hotel at the lobby. That was our original plan. But that kind of got
creeper.
Well, no, he suggested it.
I'm just kidding. I'm just both.
So, yeah, I'm not taking these accusations. But anyways, that was the original plan, but the jersey wasn't going to be ready in time. It was going to be ready on the Friday. So we're like, you know what? We'll do it after the game. So after the game ends, I had called the Bombers asking if we're allowed to go on the field after the game. We are. I didn't realize that they hold you there for 15 minutes before they let you on. Problem is, Micah Alway is what we call a professional athlete, which means his coach wants to speak with him because of course he does. And you know what? And that is his obligation. That's what he's paid to do. I respect that and have no problem with that. So I'm sitting there and I see kind of a big kind of crowd of players center field, and they're chatting, friends from other teams are meeting and talking and all this sort of stuff. And tons of the Stampeders players are filing into the dressing room. And so at that point, I'm thinking, like, you know what? Like, I'll probably just get a text later saying, like, sorry, man, got, like, real tied up. Coach Dickinson wanted to talk to us, and that's fine. That's totally acceptable. And then I would have probably just mailed it to him or whatever the hell and gotten it signed. Out of the big crowd is a man in red running down the field after playing his heart out in a really intense, really close game. And he's running down the field, and he's like I was supposed to sign some for someone. And then, so me and my brother are literally standing on the corner.
Like this?
And we're like, Micah! Just trying to get him over. And he finally sees us and runs toward him. Because I just told him I'd be around the end zone. I didn't tell him exactly where, because I didn't know where the entrance was to get on the field. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
He gets over there and, like an absolute legend, signs the jersey. You probably can't tell. It's right at the top of the 7 is where he signed. And then he also signed my hat. So thank you so much to Micah Alway, and then he literally runs the entire length of the field full 110 again to get back with his team. So that way he's there when Coach Dickinson wants to speak with the team afterwards. So very, very, very nice gesture by Micah Alway. He didn't have to do that, but he chose to do that, and that was just infinite respect for Micah Alway.
Now, quick question for you. After the 15 minutes, does the players not come on the field when you guys are on the field?
So some of the Bombers players will. I don't know how that works for the away players. You know what I mean?
So for us,
I don't know how long Dickinson might speak longer than that. I don't know.
No, just because when we have what's called family on the field after the game, some of the away players will come out and take pictures and everything with their fans.
Well, he might have done that, but he was there then, so I was kind of like, we'll just do it now because that's when he's here. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then they'll have the cheer team, and then they'll have the mascots and all that, and you can see all that afterwards. But again, all I was saying here, thank you so much to Micah. Seriously, just very, very nice thing to do, and lots of respect to Micah for that.
So anyways, I'm going to say what I was going to say. To tie the two games together.
Absolutely, go for it.
Carter thought, and all Bomber fans thought that 201 yards was amazing, but you guys were outdoomed by Justin McInnes's 243 yards receiving in the Lions 35-20 win.
He's both outdone and he isn't, and I'll tell you why.
Why is that?
McInnes outdoes him on a purely numbers basis. Here's the thing. McInnes has had really, really good games before, so this isn't as surprising. Ontario Wilson, I don't even think you even knew who the hell he was before.
No, but I mean,
do you understand what this is the difference between just a phenomenal performance and a breakout game where wasn't much before. No, this is incredible, Mike McInnes. This is ridiculous.
But what I'm saying is, for Justin McInnes, who would have thought? I'm sure that 243 is the best he's ever played.
Oh yeah, no question.
That's a career high.
This is it's funny. I'm not actually saying that one situation is better than another. I'm just saying there is a difference, despite kind of just the 30-yard difference. Now, here's the thing. I want to know your opinions on this guy. Vernon Adams Jr. is 26 for 42. That's not good. That's that's just barely over 500. However, 451 yards, but then also 1 touchdown, 2 picks. This is I don't even know what to think about Vernon Adams Jr. performance in terms of that. His completion ratio is not good. His touchdown interception ratio is not ideal. It's subpar. But then he almost gets 500 yards, so I feel like I can't like diss that because he almost gets 500 yards. Like
you know what's interesting is
that's what's so confusing.
the interesting thing was I'm sitting here all week, and I'm trying to think. Okay, Hamilton has a bye. All these quarterbacks are going to pass Bo on the passing yards list because Cody was playing Toronto. McLeod Bethel Thompson was playing Ottawa. Drew Brown was playing Calgary. Jake Mayer did well. Zach Claris goes.
Zach Claros is currently trying to dig out of the hole that he has been in.
But anyways, I come to look at it. Bo Levi Mitchell still in second place.
Ah, there you go. Well, to be fair, remember, all these other teams, they're going to have bye weeks too. So that will be where a time where Mr. Bo Levi Mitchell can advance forward. But no, because although one thing I will find interesting. Yeah?
Speaking of which, so here's the thing that works out great for us. We play Toronto this week. We play Edmonton next week. And next week, BC's on a bye. So there's our chance catch.
I see. Well,
Mind
we're
you,
talking
BC
more about
plays
the
Calgary.
Saskatchewan BC game. We've talked about some good performances. I want to talk about a really bad performance. William Stanback on 12 carries, 14 yards with an average of 1.2. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. That's bad.
You know what?
Vernon Jr. gets a rushing touchdown, 39 yards on 4 rushes. Not terrible there.
That kind of reminds me of the first game that we played Saskatchewan when I think AJ had 2.6.
Yeah. Yeah, this is less than half that, Rick. This is less than half that. William Stanback is not able to get going in this game, and I think credit to the Riders' defense here. They were able to do pretty well as Milligan as well as Williams would get picks, and there'd be a sack for Revis and Johnson, and then 2 for Lanier II, and the top tacklers of the game. Maybe that should be a little segment. Top tacklers, huh? There'd be 5 tackles for Revis as well as Milligan and Fields, and then 4 for Lacombo, Williams, Thurman, and Avery. So overall, not too bad there. Emelis go on 8 receptions, 161 yards. No touchdowns for him, but 161 for him. Good game for him. Schaefer Baker on just 4 receptions, picking himself up 82 yards. So a good game for him as well. Shea Patterson, though, no touchdown passes. 1 interception. Not quite ideal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I have a follow-up question for you.
Yeah.
With Shea Patterson going 17 for 25 and 278, even though he has 0 touchdowns, do you call that a good game for Shea Patterson or no?
See, this is where cause it's like what do I think of Vernon Adams Jr. game? It's so all over the place. I don't even know how to comprehend it. When it comes to Shea Patterson's, on the completion ratio, not bad. 278 yards, relatively good. 11.1 average yards per throw. That's actually good. 1 pick, no touchdowns, not ideal. So I can't really give you a full thing as a whole. I'm saying these were the aspects of his game that were good, and these were the aspects that were not so good.
Well,
looking at just kind of Saskatchewan in this game. The problem here, I will say, is just finish, offensively, and being able to actually complete these drives and get all this put together. As again, Emelis and Schaefer Baker both have good games. Bain Jr. and Stearns kind of really don't get much. Ouellette would get 72 yards rushing on 12 carries. Okay, not bad. He would pick up 2 touchdowns there. I think you want to have the throwing game going a little bit more. Again, this is kind of the thing that struggles with Shea Patterson a little bit, as opposed to Trevor Harris. Lothar would go 2 for 3. His longest being 24 yards, so not ideal game for Lothar. I'm not sure how far that one he missed was. Do you know how long the field goal was that he missed?
For who?
For Brett Lothar.
Give me one
I will
second
say,
here.
Sean White 7 for 7 with his longest at 50 yards. Now, to be fair, most of these kicks were like pretty close in, but this is just a great example of BC. Even though they weren't able to get as many touchdowns as probably they'd like, you can win a game. You can win games on field goals if you're able to consistently get enough offense to get into field goal range. So he hit a 16-yarder, he hit a 50-yarder, a 28-yarder, a 44-yarder, 32 yards, 20 yards, and 35 yards. So good game for Sean White kicking, as he was just overall very, very consistent. AJ Ouellette would pick up a rushing touchdown in both the first and fourth quarter. It's the second and third quarter really that drags on here for Saskatchewan, as there is not a single quarter of this game where they outscore BC, and at that point it becomes impossible to win the game. They do tie for points in the third quarter, and I think this is where Saskatchewan really needed to get going, just because it was a little bit of a downward trend, as they would get outscored 10-7 in the first, then 9-3 in the second. So it's an extra 3 points there for BC against Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan needs to come out of halftime flying. They don't. They come out a little bit flat. However, thankfully, they're able to keep it 500 with BC going 3-3. They pick up 7 in the fourth quarter on a touchdown, but this is where BC kind of kicks up the gear as well. 1 touchdown, 2 field goals with a 13-7 split. BC in favor of BC over Saskatchewan in the fourth quarter. So to me, Saskatchewan kind of the big point in this game where they really have the opportunity to kind of get back into it and maybe put a real kind of push back against BC is that third quarter. And to me, it just doesn't look like they kind of seized that opportunity.
To answer your question, it was a 47-yarder.
47. Okay, so not that bad. Okay.
But I mean, Williams also returned it for 56 yards.
Ooh. So good return as well. Overall, is there anything else we have left to say about this, other than the fact that with this, Saskatchewan gets their first loss, which, to be fair, was expected in the sense that that's with Shea Patterson being your starter quarterback. It was eventually going to happen. I thought it would actually happen the week before. However, Saskatchewan, good performance. They were able to get it done. Not against BC. BC had a little bit of a slump to start the year, but they've been very, very good since then. Vernon Adams Jr., in my opinion, has looked like... he's looked like the best quarterback in the league as of right now. Obviously, there might be a time in a little bit where maybe Mr. Bo Levi Mitchell looks like that, but I think he might start looking like that if the Ticats are able to get going. It's just kind of hard to say that when the Ticats as a whole, unfortunately, for you, Mr. Rick, have not been able to get that.
It will come one of these days.
He's like, will you just shut up, please? We got one game left, though, right? Just one game, yeah.
And the memes have already started with this game.
Oh, boy. 37-34 victory for the Ottawa Redblacks, because Edmonton, like Mr. Milt Stiegel so eloquently said, that you're not improving, you're just finding different ways to lose. Milt Stiegel is right about the Edmonton Elks, man. Oh, man. The different ways that you can... Oh, my goodness. The different ways that you can get a lead and systematically just piss it away in Edmonton. It's actually crazy. And finally, later today, we are going to have a video coming out as... Ladies and gentlemen, the Death Star has been blown up. Chris Jones has been fired.
Keep in mind,
I put him as the Death Star as on one of my old thumbnails on one of our. I did I think I called it like Return of the Law, as it was like a Lawler coming back, and it was the Return of the Jedi, and I had all the different faces over all the characters, and I had Chris Jones's face over the Death Star from like last year.
There's two things that I want to point out in this game.
Yep.
Drew Brown goes 26 for 38, 480 yards, 2 touchdowns.
It's the Drew Brown train, baby.
Then
3 receivers over 100 yards. Oh, my God.
It gets better. Hold on, it gets better.
Oh.
Then you have a receiver by the name Pimpleton who has never played a CFL game before, and in his rookie game, he gets 4 catches out of 5 targets for 153
on only
yards.
4 receptions. Only 4. Keep in mind, again, this is again kind of going back to, like, to me, this is the performance I compare to the Ontario Wilson in terms of a breakout game. You want to talk about a breakout game? First CFL game, 153. It's funny. The rushing game was almost non-existent here for Ottawa. They didn't need a rushing game tonight. Seriously. 153 yards on 4 receptions, 1 touchdown for Pimpleton. Dominic Rhymes to get 131 on 7 receptions. And then Hardy with 110 on 5 receptions. He picks up a touchdown as well. 40 yards on 4 catches for Jalen Ackland. 31 on 4 catches for Armstead, which is fine because Armstead got 40 yards rushing on 14 rushes, though, so wasn't able to get it rushing, so might as well throw to him. But, man, 480 yards for Drew Brown is ridiculous. 5 for 5 from Lewis Ward. It's funny, even though like Ottawa was just able to do enough to get this victory here, even though like defensively they were Santos Knox with 2 sacks, and then as well as Wakefield would have himself a sack. The top tacklers of the game, we're going to start doing that, Rick, eh? the top tacklers of the game was Santos Knox, Lamont, Harris, and Pickett, all with 5 tackles. And then Aday, I think. Aday and Taylor with 4. And this is on the Ottawa side of things. On the Edmonton side of things, it would be there'd be a sack for Anderson as well as a pick for Jackson. And then for the tackles, 9 tackles for Anderson, 6 for Morgan, 6 for Purifoy, 4 for new Edmonton Elk Sean Oakman. And then after that, it kind of drops down a bit. So, and this is kind of one of the problems is that they bring in Sean Oakman, good defensive lineman. The problem here is that zone coverage. And when I say zone coverage, I'm not necessarily saying it's a problem to use zone coverage. I'm saying the players you have doing it, they're not getting it done. To me, Edmonton is losing on their defense right now, not their offense. And so
there's
like his 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks for McLeod Bethel Thompson, 26 for 35. Kevin Brown is able to get a little bit rushing, 35 yards on 8 rushes, 4.4 average. No touchdowns on the rushing with the exception of 2 short yardage ones for Dakota Prukop, including one where it goes to 3rd down and it's like, is he going to get it in? Like Edmonton needs this if they're going to tie this up and get this going. And then he rushes out wide and he gets the touchdown. Also, TSN post after Edmonton gets their touchdown in the 4th quarter. TSN posed something. I can't remember the exact quote. Zach showed me something along the lines of Edmonton ties the game to send it to overtime. And it's like, No. There's 8 seconds left, and who knew that Edmonton would find a way to piss away a tie game in 8 seconds as a 40-yard pass. They needed to give up 15 or less. There's 8 seconds. Just don't blow it. 6 seconds. They got 40 yards down the field. And then Mr. Lewis Ward, 38-yard field goal. That's money for him. He'll pick it up. And Ottawa gets the victory. Oh, my goodness.
But hold on. It gets better, though.
Yep.
So, if Boris Beatty does not kick it out of bounds.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wait, dude, if you, the camera that they kept panning to Chris Jones on the sidelines, just the slow realization of he's getting fired because of this. Because they can't get... Because that's the thing. If Boris Beatty keeps this in and Ottawa isn't able to get a field goal, Edmonton maybe wins in overtime. Maybe. There's no guarantees. But they have a chance. If Edmonton wins this game, Chris Jones isn't fired. He's not. Because you don't fire him after a win. You fire him after a loss. So it's just so funny the way this all pans out. And again, just not improving, finding new ways to. I don't know if I'd say not improving. That's a little harsh, but they are finding new ways to lose. That's for sure. Yeah, Boris Beatty, 1 for 2. This game was insane in how
it's funny.
Came down to the wire.
Do you remember earlier in this exact same scenario, but not for Edmonton, for Hamilton, the exact same freaking thing happened to us. Instead of kicking it downfield, they decided to go with the scrub kick that cost Paul Boudreau his job.
Yep.
And now here we are again. If you want to lose your job, just screw up on special teams.
Well, and yeah, so when it comes to Chris Jones and that whole debacle, because there's so much of it, Chris Jones. People have been looking for Chris Jones, and I'm not gonna lie, it's been kind of me and Rick have been on agreement with this. That Chris Jones has
those things I sent you earlier,
long overdue. We're gonna have a full video covering just the Chris Jones situation and kind of his tenure in Edmonton. You guys are not gonna want to miss that because that's just great stuff there. So make sure you guys do check that out. Coming out later today when that is posted. Just want to talk a little bit about the receiving game here for Edmonton. 6 receptions, 89 yards for Eugene Lewis, including one of his catches was in triple coverage. Good game for Eugene Lewis. Mayala, another strong game in Edmonton, kind of emerging as a bit of kind of a homegrown talent there, which is good, just in the sense of that Edmonton has kind of had to rely a little bit on just kind of signing bigger names. And it's funny, this isn't kind of exclusive to them. I mean, even if you look at kind of their brothers over there in Alberta, bringing in Demario Houston and a few other guys to kind of to bolster that lineup. Edmonton has kind of relied a lot on signing guys, bringing in Bethel Thompson and bringing in Eugene Lewis just a few years ago from Montreal, Gittins Jr., Boris Beatty from Toronto. So being able to kind of grow some of that talent yourself and being able to get these guys on cheap, like entry-level deals and stuff like that is a great way to get great talent at really cheap. And then also in a situation where you kind of have them under lock and key, because typically those entry-level deals are 2 years instead of just 1. So if you're able to get a good year out of them in that first year, that can really, really help. But Mayala, he would get 88 receiving yards on 7 receptions and 1 touchdown. So just a good game for him.
You know what else something that I noticed during this game. Now, each team in this league has one key receiver that is crap in the bed this year. Every team has one. Okay. And it seems like it's all.
Funny. I don't know if I'd say Winnipeg has one. They just have ones that are injured.
but I mean, them hasn't been having a great year.
I'd say this last game was
Rhymes.
I'd say this last game was a pretty good game. But up until then, I kind of agree with you.
No, but what I'm saying is like. Okay, Dembski's 8, but usually he's up there.
No, that's true. No, compared to
Rhymes just came out of nowhere this past week. Yeah. Eugene Lewis has been crap in the bed. Tim White's been crap in the bed.
Yeah, and again, I will say in the bed in regards to, and this is true of Tim White as well as then kind of the Dembski and the Bombers. Just a situation of that the whole team was being bad as a whole. And so it just, in terms of just as a whole, it hasn't been kind of clicking. So if the Ticats start clicking, maybe Tim White start clicking a little bit more. If the Bombers really get in stride, maybe Nick Dembski becomes a bigger piece in that offense. He's been a big piece before in Grey Cup winning offenses. So I would not be surprised if he gets going in that regard. It's funny. I don't know if you remember during this game, the Ottawa-Edmonton game, I don't think I was wrong. Was I the only one hearing the "We want Trey Ford" chants out of the crowd there at Commonwealth Stadium? I'm pretty sure. My brother was
I'm sure the fans were chanting that.
Because I think I remember hearing it because which it's funny. Bethel Thompson doesn't actually play like that bad, but it's one of those things where I do understand. Edmonton really wanted some Trey Ford this year. They signed Bethel Thompson, not a bad signing, just kind of a little bit of a questionable one where it's just kind of this is where you needed to spend the money. I thought Trey Ford might be this next guy, but, hasn't been
The
playing,
funny thing that I was going
they
to
might
mention
lose
about
Trey
them.
Ford. They might with what's happening now. Who knows? Unless maybe a new head coach uses him a bit more. So
The thing that I was going to be mentioning
Mm-hmm.
is about the memes before we came on to this Edmonton thing is. Do you know how many people are already starting rumors on X that Chris Jones is coming to Hamilton to replace Mark Washington? I told a fan, go stand in the wall. Go stand to the wall with your nose pointed at the wall and think about what you just said, because Chris Jones, no way. And
this is a
HE double hockey
certified Chris Jones moment.
he is not coming to Hamilton. I don't
on,
care.
CFL.commish on Instagram. Good meme page. I've talked with a guy, nice dude. He's a Saskatchewan fan, but just he loves this. This is a certified Christian. This is a certified hood classic, except it's like the Chris Jones moment. This is a certified Chris Jones moment. Like just whenever like random crap happens in Edmonton. Oh my goodness, all the memes about him, just pure. just
I will also like to shout out to my lovely co-host on the other side.
Ooh.
Not only do I have usually my lovely banner hanging up, but I got this.
Oh, put it up to the camera there.
Lovely.
Yes. Yeah, there's a guy in Winnipeg who actually sells, believe it or not, he sells Grey Cup rings.
I honestly didn't think these were as heavy as it was.
Oh yeah, no, they're heavy. They're big. No, just because I'm even looking at the set I have here, like the bomber set, and they're big. They're big rings. Like they are.
Oh yeah.
Like they're big. Even like the smallest one, like this one here. This is the 1988 one. Like even it's a good size. I'm honestly like they're solid quality. Like how does it look for like on your end? I thought it looked actually really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like they look nice. It's funny. If anyone's actually like interested in getting like Grey Cup rings of their team.
I've already had someone ask me where I got it from. So I'll be sending someone your way.
Was that Connor? Or?
No, someone from a Ticat. Ticat fan.
I see. Yeah, no.
Yeah. It comes in a lovely championship ring case.
Yes, yeah, no, and yeah, there are Ticat. The Ticats one was a bit expensive compared to some of the bombers.
That's okay.
Just because
it's still well worth it.
He sources them at certain like from his normal supplier, but he had to go through a different one to find.
I can say I was alive when we won our last Grey Cup.
There you go.
Because I was 13.
There you go. You were alive, so that's good. Some young Ticats fans, they're still looking for.
I've said today, and I will say this again. Mm-hmm. If they do not win within the next 40 years, that video that you've seen of me yelling at Coach O, it's going to be me throwing my cane next in the next 40 years if we don't win a Grey Cup within the next 40 years.
Dude is going to be rolling himself into the falling apart now Tim Hortons field at the time.
I'm sure we'll have it.
Is under.
I'm sure in 40 years we'll have something else besides Tim Hortons Field.
Oh, you never know, because then there are some buildings that just last, like, because you have to realize with the CFL, they don't always have the money to keep constantly replacing crap, so a lot of times they'll just keep repairing. Like, I mean, McMahon Stadium's being there forever. You look at Commonwealth, it's being there forever. Who knows? You know what I mean? There's no way to predict. But that was our review of Week 6 of the CFL. The CFL games, a lot of stuff going on. This is probably our longest one yet. I think we're already at 53 minutes. My goodness.
53 and a half.
I had all this stuff to talk about and all that. We have the certified Chris Jones moment, which we're going to record just after this. Rick, that's going to be a fun
Extreme! He ain't coming over to the extreme side.
Is he coming over to Team Extreme?
No, he's not.
I did that like it was like in wrestling, like the guy's actually hurt, like he threw up the X. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're watching this on Spotify, give it 5 stars. Rick, I'll get to you in 1 second. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you also click the little notification bell after you subscribe. Helps out the channel a ton. Let you know that we released a video. Rick, what is it?
I was actually gonna say. Also, don't forget to check out on Wednesday because we have finally, unless Carter's laptop bites the dust, we will have our Derek Parrish interview.
That's right. We are recording
on Wednesday.
We are recording it tomorrow. I think we should be fine, Rick. It
okay.
Was just
I just wanted to throw that plug out there.
Yeah, no, that's good because we had finally been able to reschedule. Essentially, he had a bit of a situation with housing that was a little bit of a problem, which he was like, "Oh, like I'm so sorry, man." I'm like, "Dude, it's housing. Like the podcast is not as important as housing. Get your home situation dealt with." I'm glad to hear that he's all doing well and all that now, and that we can finally do the interview. And so that should be going up Wednesday. It'll be episode 10 of the CFC podcast. So I'm hoping you guys will enjoy that. And again, peace, love, and positivity. And we'll see you guys next time.